Can I start off first by saying that I have really put off this video for a long time? Because I have. And I got this fans a couple of months ago and I've just been putting it off and getting distracted from actually making content about them that they just got shoved into the back burner. Anyway, forget about that. Because today is finally the day that I take a look at and review these 3 case fans from PCCooler. Now, I actually picked these guys up after seeing a video from Kyle Bitwit a couple of aeons ago about how he really loved the cousins of these fans, the PCCooler Corona. Am I allowed to say that? I don't know. Okay, is this video gonna get demonetized? I guess as long as I don't say the accompanying V word, I should be okay, right? Anyway, I do have those fans with me as well, because I have this guy, the U4D small form factor cooler that comes with this fan, and I'll check this guy out sometime soon as well. Anyway, on to actually reviewing the PCCooler Halo. So for those of you who have seen Kyle's video, you might be wondering what the differences are between these fans and those. As far as I can tell, specs wise they're pretty identical. Both have an RPM range of in between 1000 to 2000, use hydraulic bearings and push roughly about the same amount of air at 72 CFM versus 68. The biggest difference mainly comes in where the RGB lights and strips are placed. While the Coronas have the RGB lights in a ring on the frame surrounding the fan blades, the Halos instead has the translucent fan blades with the RGB LEDs in the center of it. I think then it mostly comes down to personal choice of how you like your RGBs done, inside or out. A pack of 3 of these cost me 103 ringgit or $23 US, so they're pretty cheap and affordable. Other things to note of include rubber dampeners on each corner to reduce the vibration noise, a 4-pin PWM header to power and control the fan, RGB plugs on the fans which use what look like a proprietary plug, which of course they provide a converter for plugging into the 12V RGB header of your motherboard. They also include an RGB header adapter if you need that. And in the event that your motherboard doesn't support RGB lighting, well, they do provide an inline RGB controller that you can hook them into that is powered via a 12V Molex plug. So I did all my sound tests running the fans outside my case in order to minimize any external noise sources, and the fans ran pretty quietly even at full load. Here's how they compare to the Coronas. And I use an anemometer to measure the amount of airflow being pushed by the fans at full speed with and without a radiator. As usual, higher is better, and if you plan to use these as case fans, the unobstructed numbers show that they should do pretty well at this. When it comes to pushing air through a rad, if you're looking for something that is more tuned towards silence rather than top performance, then, well, these aren't a bad pick. With that said, getting case fans installed is pretty easy if you know what you're doing, but in my case, well, I had a little difficulty with it. That's because my case is a little bit of a small form factor, so I actually had to remove the motherboard in order for me to route the plugs and cables all the way to the back of the case, and then finally, after removing the Akasa Vegas X7s, which I planned to retire for some time as some of them has started to give out, and screwing the Halos in, and of course reaffirming the motherboard back in, I plug all of the fan headers into a fan splitter and then proceed to plug that into the fan header of my motherboard. In order to get the RGB lights on the fans working, I similarly plug the RGB headers on the fans into the provided splitter cable, then plug that into the RGB header of my motherboard. So yeah, pretty easy stuff. If you've done all of that correctly, then powering the system up, you can see the goodness that are the Halos. In mine, all 3 fans and their RGB goodness are powered up, and so my system has got an upgrade in terms of cooling while not sacrificing any noise levels. And it looks pretty cool as well. Quick, clean and easy video on these fans on how to install them, because apparently some of you needed help on this on some of my other videos. Yeah, anyway, That's it for me on this one. If you enjoyed the video, drop it a like, hit subscribe and the notification bell. Drop any comments down below. This is Yang the Tech Rodent and I will see you guys in the next video. That almost sounds like it rhymes. Almost.